I want to go over everything that was said by this employee of the Washington Commanders about his position, about the NFL, about Roger Goodell. He is the VP of content for the Commanders. That is middle management. He goes on Hinge looking for a date, goes on a date, second date, third date, doesn't realize that he's being videotaped. A word to the wise for those of you on the dating apps. A word to the wise for those of you who simply wake up in the morning. There's a pretty good chance that somewhere along the course of your day, someone is going to keep track of something that you're saying or doing. So this guy sits down, has a meal, and gets suckered into honesty. I say that because I don't give people who take Ambien an out because they're on Ambien. I don't give people who are on a hidden camera an out because they were supposed to be on a date without a hidden camera. The reason I don't give them an out is whether you are peacocking or whether you are showing your true colors. Phil Collins, although I like that, Cyndi Lauper's better. But either way, when you say things, just know there may be a problem. And Rael Entine, the VP of content for the Commanders, has a big problem. So he sits down across the table and he gets asked just to talk. They're talking about his job and, past the calamari and normal things are happening. And then he starts talking about players and whether or not they're smart, whether or not they're dumb, how political they are, how not political they are. Starts talking about Jerry Jones doesn't like black people, doesn't like gay people. The VP of content for the Washington Commanders is extremely unlikely to have ever been in a room with Jerry Jones. Roger Goodell is a $50 million puppet. He does whatever the owners want. Jerry Jones is in control. I'm not sure that he's ever been in a room with under 100 people and Roger Goodell. And I'm not saying that what he said about Roger Goodell is or is not true. You know what commissioner's job is, to increase the value of their team and to do the bidding for the owners. Why would the Commanders, when they see this, be angry enough to suspend this employee, which they've done? He's been with the organization for 4 years. They watch this video, they start an investigation, and they suspend him pending the outcome of the investigation. Code word, they're getting their ducks in a row before firing him. I wonder whether it matters to the Commanders or anyone else that this was an entrapment job by a reporter for O'Keefe Media Group. This story's getting intriguing, isn't it? Do you know what O'Keefe Media Group is? Think about a fully funded punked. Think about a group of people, and we reviewed a movie about this, Coca, people who are out there on the web trying to get into your systems and give you viruses and ask for money or ask for you to change your position on an issue. O'Keefe Media Group spends its time, money, and resources finding people, often in Washington, often politically bent, to say things that will cause a major brouhaha. I question why they want to get involved in sports, because the majority of major brouhahas are political related. But NFL and the Commanders have to deal with it as though it is the sun and the center of the universe, even on the day the season is starting. Roger Goodell gets wind of something like this. He speaks to Josh Harris, the owner of the Commanders. Josh Harris goes through what their plan is, how they're dealing with it. Roger Goodell gives the go-ahead for the way the Commanders want to deal with it. They get lawyers involved, HR lawyers, who are always on staff, and outside counsel. we always would have both. Teams, all teams do. You've got in-house counsel, but you also use outside counsel. And you decide what you're going to do, both from a PR standpoint and from a logistical standpoint, dealing with the employee. When you have an employee anywhere who's videoed saying, hey, listen, over 50% of our roster is white religious, and this is what he said. When you have an employee on video, whether it's framed otherwise on a date or otherwise, saying that the players are dumb as hell, quote, talking about concussions, talking about conspiracy theories. When you've got an employee on record, whether it's on a date or elsewhere, saying, I don't think the commissioner of the NFL hates gay people, hates black people. Jerry Jones, who really runs the NFL, I think he hates gay people and black people. When you've got those things on video, you can't just tourniquet the story. Tourniqueting the story is, as you know, for longtime listeners and viewers of Nothing Personal, is one of my favorite PR strategies because I don't want to give oxygen to something, let it run its course, and then move on. The problem when you are a team and there is something that involves the commissioner or involves another team owner or involves your players, you have a very hard time letting it go.